And welcome back, intrepid travelers, to 80 Days. I picked this one up in the Steam sale, and it is an amazing game that I really haven't heard enough about. So, to rectify that, I thought I'd do a quick let's play of this game. With the last expedition I took, I ended up failing it, but it took me about, I think, 4 to 5 hours. So it should be a pretty short let's play anyway. So let's get into it. What this game is basically Jules Verne's Around the World in 80 Days. You will be traveling as a valet to one of those rich English gentlemen from 1872. You'll be in his service, doing all the market goods, meeting lots of new people, and generally planning this trip to its entirety, where to go, which cities to go, what sort of transport to take. Now, the interesting thing about this game is, while it is set in that 1800s ever, they have taken in quite a few liberties and created many fantastical elements to the game, different types of people, and especially the various types of contraptions around in this world. Because of the different contraptions and the leeway they've made with that, there's so many more aspects to this story and the way you can travel as well. And that's one thing, this game is all about the story, so let's jump in and see how we go. I have entered in the service of a new gentleman. It would seem he is a gambling man. So I let the credits go. I like the music and I like how it's just set out. So, anyway, let's get in the mood, I say. And here we are. Good old cloudy, dreary, depressing London. And just a tip, it's still not in the European Union at this time either. So it's got something in common with the present time. Let's begin. Saw Phileas Fogg return home early from the Reform Club and in a new fangled steam carriage. Besides, I helped him down, and the iron-lugged, steam-driven horses clattered away. Passepartout said we are going around the world. Let's see, I say, very good, monsieur. I murmured dutifully, not believing a word of it. We shall circumnavigate the globe within 80 days. He was quite calm as he proposed this wild scheme. We leave for Paris on the 8:25 in an hour. But of course, why not? I answered, still extremely suspicious. He nodded. Good. Pack an altimeter and my evening jacket. There is not a moment to waste. You, Passepartout, now have funds and your character is now dependable. See, it's funny, with a lot of the choices you make, it actually lessens or increases the mood of your traveling partner, your employer. So we wanted that, didn't we? And we definitely need shipping stuff and altimeter. Right, let's go. That's because I packed the timetable, so it's showing me all the different places I can go. Alright, let's depart on the 8:25. The mechanical horses raced past Piccadilly Circus and Pall Mall faster than a team of thoroughbreds. Even so, the whistle of the 8:25 was blowing as we pulled up to Charing Cross Station. We have no tickets, or we raced along the concourse. Let's just jump on. Why not? We barely had time to take our seats before the guard rapped smartly on the compartment door. He held out a hand. Tickets, please. Should we lose him? I say truth is always better. Alas, monsieur, we are in a great hurry. I explained, giving him a beseeching look. We did not have time to buy tickets. You may purchase them from me, the guard was saying. Though it is more expensive, I'm afraid. £85, please. Alright, let's just give him the money. The guard gave me our tickets and slid the compartment door shut behind him. What a pneumatic hiss. We got 4,000. Alright, let's converse. So we're going to Paris. Let's talk about our journey. Indeed, but we can earn a little from buying and selling our possessions as we travel. Very good. London's smog gave way to rolling hills and pastures of the Kentish countryside, still untouched by the hand of technological advancement. Let's see. Monsieur Fogg read his paper whilst I repacked our bags. Is that how you say it, Monsieur? 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 We passed the day in silence until the guard rapped on the door a few miles before Dover. We're about to submerge, he warned. Takes some people a bit funny, so watch out. Let's see. Very good, I replied, as though submerging inside a 1,000-ton metal train was quite ordinary for me. If you feel claustrophobic, the guard replied, try running up and down the corridor. I always find exercise helps. With that, he closed the door. I pressed my face to the window glass as the fins above the Amphitrite's wheels extended with a hydraulic hiss. Night fell and we plunged past the end of the track into the freezing water of the English Channel. Oh, I thought it was going to be a tunnel, you know, like the English Channel tunnel that's there. But no, we're actually going straight into the water. The Amphitrite ploughed through the water overnight and splashed up onto wider gauge French tracks at Calais as dawn broke. Let's see. Do you have a route in mind, Monsieur? I asked as the water of the channel dried from the compartment windows. I am as yet undecided, my master admitted. The new canal has sped up the shipping route from Suez to Bombay, though perhaps we could take the Trans-Siberian Railway across Russia. Surely not Siberia, I exclaimed. It's so cold and grim, and I have a particular fear of bears. Then we would do well to buy furs, he replied, refraining from rolling his eyes. There are other alternatives. We may also travel overland and across the Black Sea, the Black and Caspian Seas. But which is fastest? I believe he said that is what we shall put to the test. Pablo scarcely knew what to think. We arrived at Paris did Nord just after 1 o'clock. Automated porters lifted our luggage and then our persons onto the platform with long, delicately filigreed iron arms. Paris, city of my heart. I was home, but not to stay. That's a pretty long path. Moscow. Alright, let's check out the market. Berlin. Where's Berlin? There. Yeah, we'll go to Berlin then. If I can get so much for wine, we'll go to Berlin. There you go. And yeah, why not? We'll take it as well. Yeah, buy everything. Explore. We had a few hours to spare. I asked Monsieur Fogg if I might enjoy my city before we had to leave. Indeed, and should you learn anything of note, be sure to relay it. I nodded and headed into town. The talk on the streets was one thing only, an enormous, elegant oval stadium constructed upon the green fields of Champ de Mars and containing the technological marvels, art, amusement parks, and milling crowds of the World's Fair of 1872. See, the funny thing with this is, last game, while some of the story elements are the same, like different options will be there, or you might find entirely new stories in the same city at the same time. So it's really quite random what you do get, which is good. So it's got a lot of replayability. My city still wore the scars of last year. I ventured inside. Yeah, let's go inside. Inside the grand illuminated pavilions of the exposition, an artificer was replacing a street, an arc light, or the airship hangar. Let's go to the artificer, which had burned out. She first disconnected the strange machine powering the lights. It had a spinning iron wheel, which was wound around with a series of armature coils. "What is this device, artificer?" I asked politely, my eye straying to the copper lily pin which proclaimed her profession. "It is a bleeding nuisance, is what it is," the artificer grumbled in a thick Yorkshire accent. Sorry, I can't do accents. "These ground machines are finicky beasts." Well, that's Yorkshire, isn't it? I don't know. "Grand machines?" I inquired. "Well, it's..." "Oh, never mind." She waved away my question. "It's steam engine, all right. Only it doesn't make steam. Will that do? I hate explaining this stuff to laymen." The harshness of her tone was belied by her gentle touch as she unscrewed the arc light's globe of enameled glass and replaced the 2 carbon rods within. She reconnected the supply, and 10 Yablokov candles connected in a series lit up once more. "They are miraculous," I breathed. The artificer snorted. "Their hard work is what they are. Miracles indeed." But her mouth softened into a small, proud smile. She looked at her pocket watch, cursed, and hurried off, dropping something as she went. I hurried to return it. "Yeah, let's pocket it." It was a guild medallion, a token of membership or favour that might prove useful should we encounter other artificers along our path. I looked about me once more. Avenues sprawled in every direction between the inviting, illuminated pavilions of the exposition. We've got that badge, so let's go towards the Artificers Guild. I head towards the red and purple tents of the Artificers Guild, draped with banners emblazoned with their copper lily sigil. A steam-powered orchestra, or... Yeah, I don't care too much about music. I had the most incredible display of machines, as though a scrapyard had been brought to life. One of the artificers was explaining the guild's credo. Let's listen to the creed first. "The copper lily stamp of the guild is an assurance of safety and quality," the artificer said, before pausing to gently discourage a curious toddler's ambitions of flight. "We build and maintain everything from children's toys," she gestured to nearby Clockwork Monkey, which was enthusiastically banging a pair of cymbals, "to airship engines, and even mechanical workers." A mechanical valet could never replace a human one. I leaned closer. And remained silent, eager to hear more of this wondrous, mechanized future. An automaton worker will never tire or feel hungry or thirst. It can function happily under the hot glare of the sun and will not get phossy jaw or cotton lung if it works in a factory. Surely an automaton is as expensive to fuel as a human is to feed, if not more. The artificer released the child now squirming in her arms and gave me a lopsided grin. "For now, but we hope to build our automata more efficiently and find cheaper fuels." She raised her voice a little to address the small crowd that had gathered to eavesdrop on our exchange. "The Artificers Guild operates across the borders of nation, caste, and creed." I nodded with approval. "When we become artificers, we give up our personal loyalties and swear to use our skills only for peaceful aims," the artificer continued. "The cleverest engines and inventors all working together to shape a better future for all the world." I clapped along with the rest of the crowd, carried along by her strident tones and enthusiasm. The artificer caught my sleeve as the crowd dispersed. How was my speech? I rehearsed it all night. Was it too much? It was very stirring, I assured her. Oh, sorry, I've been saying it like a he, but it's a her. And she gave me a bright, grateful grin as she returned to the central square, stopping here and there to gaze at the wonders of the exposition. Crowds of tourists jostled and heaved past, their eyes wide with wonder. Let's take our leave, I think, and return to Monsieur Fogg, who was eating a meal of plain boiled beef à la anglaise. Anglaise. Yeah, beef à la anglaise. Did you enjoy the exposition, my master? Inquired indifferently, as though I had been visiting an aunt, having preferred heavy... And I nodded. Yes, I'm a quiet sort. We are unspeakably lucky to live in such an age of invention, I declared. It will certainly make it easier to win my wager, Monsieur Fogg replied mildly. I dreamed that night of mechanical wonders and automatons with beautiful enamelled faces, knowing little of strange inventions and stranger peoples I would encounter in my journey. Sweet. So we got that guild thing, didn't we? Nice. Karachi. I don't know where Karachi is. Let's see where we can go next. I want to make it to Berlin, so I'd probably have to drop off at Munich, wouldn't I? Yep, we'll go from Munich to Berlin to Warsaw, I think. Arrives Friday, 2 days. Tomorrow. Oh, but that's the Orient Express. That travelled right across, didn't it? Parny Express. 3 days. Negotiate. Oh, there we go. Sweet. That worked out well. Alright, let's hunker down for the night. We took a hotel for the night. We will be comfortable here, Monsieur Fogg remarked, but travelling overnight will often be more efficient. Where possible. We cannot travel where it is not possible, certainly, he replied. Still, the surrounds of the Hotel Ritz were most enjoyable. Alright, let's depart. Munich. Hire extra space. See, I know in the real time, Munich to Berlin is a really easy trip, but I don't know how it goes in a game. Boarding the Orient Express was an altogether calmer affair than our race through London had been. Mechanical porters loaded us in through the windows, then snapped them shut with a delicate click. The train was beautiful, the train was fast. The train was fast and could sweep across the whole Europe, or at least as far as Deutsches Kaiserreich, where the track currently ceased. At long last, the whistle blew and we began our journey east. See, it said Kaiserreich where it ends, but I don't see that town. Oh, there! No, that wasn't it. My master wished to be undisturbed, so as we left Paris, I left him and went... Yeah, let's explore the train. There was a delightful dining car and an observation deck formed by the replacement of an entire compartment with an open glass cube. I attended the dining car. I'm a food person. And found a few groups of people talking quietly. I sat with a young composer heading to Vienna for a concert by the great steam orchestra there, but he spoke of little but melody, harmony, and the progression of chords. I find music to be of only passing interest, so I did not find the conversation stimulating. More interesting, however, were his remarks upon the political situation there. My uncle warned me not to play an instrument myself, while within the city walls it is apparently forbidden. In Vienna? But why? He shook his head, then smiled a quick smile. Perhaps they are tired of foreign musicians showing up their great composers. He left a short while later, following a pair of chattering Parisian ladies to the observation deck to watch the stars come out. I returned to Monsieur Fogg, who to my surprise looked up from his paper at me. What did you learn? He inquired. I told him of the dining car, and he looked smartly aside, clearly unimpressed. Relations with Fogg have deteriorated slightly. My character is now organized. I still don't know what the organized part means. It changes through the trip. Right, 10 p.m. Hotel down. The Franco-Prussian War had concluded but a year previously. I don't even mean if we were fighting them. Thus my French accent was a disadvantage during our short time in Munich. The concierge of our hotel was most suspicious when I approached the desk. I did not care for politics myself. What was the enmity of nations to me? So, still, in order to avoid any untowardness, we don't want any trouble. I spoke as little as possible, and tried to adopt a Germanic rather than a Francophone expression to match with perhaps mixed success, if Monsieur Fogg's faintly quizzical looks were any measure. We're dependable. Right. Market, what was selling good? Sell for 150. We can probably do better. I'm sure it'll become in use though, so yeah. We need European train timetable. That'd be good. I don't think we need the ships. Let's get the train timetable. And an apple. There we go. Fill up our bags. So, it looks like we can get there really easy. Or we can go up to Warsaw. Yeah, I need Berlin though. Let's explore and see if we can find another trail. Yep, Berlin. I was right. There was little daylight in Munich, the sky was shrouded in steam, and all the oily fumes from the tractors and hydraulic excavators in the streets. Workers, a place of industry then, whose citizens wore dark cloaks to protect their finery from the soot. I brushed a few specks of dirt from my collar, absent-mindedly, far more intrigued by the gleaming machines remaking the city's skyline. Rumor had it that this work was the doing of the Bavarian king, who had become obsessed. Yeah, he's obsessed with steam power and was spending an exorbitant sum on imported machinery and engineering works. The kingdom of Bavaria had recently joined the German Empire. It appeared that the king suddenly had much more time on his aristocratic hands. Power and free time, a most potent and dangerous combination, as our journey, I fear, proves. Let's depart to Berlin. Yep. Uncomfortable conditions, open road. We crossed from Munich to Berlin in a patched-up steam carriage. The smoke pumped out of the back through a tall iron chimney, leaving a soot-smudged wake which trailed behind us like a flag. Our driver, Christoph, the countryside, was the very definition of bucolic. Little farmsteads with cattle byres, coal sheds, and roving automatic tractors digging up the fields. Let's converse. Hello, greetings, Christoph. Don't worry, you won't distract me from the road. Berlin to Warsaw, we know that connection. Let's talk about Berlin. Everyone always talks about the beer and the sausages, but the music is incredible. Yeah, we need to go to Warsaw. There we go. Berlin, Warsaw. Who was in holiday in Sats long before the freight train to Moscow went missing. Warsaw to Minsk? Yeah. Absolutely. Minsk can be reached from Warsaw aboard the Belarus Express. But now, this master of yours, he's very quiet. Is he shy? No. More reserved, I would say. Reserved, shy, afraid. What's the difference? Minsk. Yeah, you can have an apple. Minsk. What's up further? Budapest? Prague. Budapest. Minsk. Arx. There we go. We uncovered some different tracks. We were on the outskirts of Berlin when a shadow fell over the steam carriage. Christoph blanched and crossed himself, taking his hands from the wheel. I looked up, not knowing what to expect, but the sight that greeted me almost defied description. An Ottoman Geig-class airship hung directly above the steam carriage, low enough that I could see. Pirate flag? Jacketed woman. A red-jacketed woman swinging from a trailing rope ladder and pointing towards us with a wild grin on her face. She shouted something, and two mechanical claws were dropped off the side of the gondola, their pincers gleamed threatening. Drive, Christoph! I shouted urgently, but with our suitcases on the roof, there was no way to achieve enough acceleration. I twisted around to see the arm as it swept past my cheek and clamped into the metal chassis of the car. We were swept up off the road, then we were hoisted upwards. Dun dun dun. Christoph's prayers grew louder and more desperate, but Monsieur Fogg merely looked out of the window as we were hauled up onto the deck of the pirate airship. We have been abducted. We have been abducted, Monsieur, I hissed, by pirates! Indeed, a passport tout. Passport? Passport. I don't know how to say the name. Two muscular crew members pulled us out of the carriage and onto the deck as the red-jacketed woman climbed over the side nimbly. She examined us with dark-eyed intensity before breaking into laughter. An Englishman, a Frenchman, a Bavarian, she announced. It is like the beginning to a terrible joke. Why have you abducted us? Yeah. I am Bayi bint Qasim, and this is my ship, the Caneva. I have little interest in you passengers. All I want is a part from your steam carriage's engine. Yeah, an engine part. I exclaimed. Why do you not simply buy one? We are pirates, Captain Qasim replied in a wonderment as the crew fell about with laughter. Really? You are too precious. I decided to help with the scavenging, reasoning that the quicker the pirates found the part, the quicker we could be on our way. The Caneva's engineer, a slight girl with a scarf secured by an Armenian-style headband, was directing the salvage operation. Smile, or I think just greet, because they're like pirates and they've just captured us, so like smiling and trying to woo them is probably not a good idea. I extended my hand in a comradely greeting, but she only shied away from the gesture and turned back to the chassis. I peered at the engineer more closely. Ha! My curiosity piqued. Her gloved hands were deft, and sure as she decoupled and unscrewed. But there was something strange about her movements, something too precise. Her scarf slipped, and I saw that her eyes were not eyes at all, but carved green jewels, and her flesh was not suntan, but burnished bronze. You are an automaton, I exclaimed, and before the words had left my mouth, I found myself shoved to the floor, with Captain Kasim's wickedly curved scimitar pressed to my throat. "Foolish boy," she whispered, dropping a droplet of blood with her blade, drawing. "You are too curious." Oh, you got the medallion. That might help. Okay. I showed her my artificer's medallion. Yes. Gaping at, "I am a friend to you." Her sword arm relaxed fractionally, but she grimaced. "Does it count if I am a lapsed artificer?" She turned to the engineer, who had her hands pressed in her face in an incongruously human gesture. "Shh, Bulbul, don't worry." "Did you make her?" "Bulbul is my engineer and my friend, not a toy," Captain Kasim said. "She values her freedom as much as I do, as much as any other member of my crew. I will say nothing of her." "Then she is a lucky person," I said cautiously. Captain Kasim pulled the blade from my throat. "I will trust you, perhaps. In return, you will perform a service for me. I have something for the artificer of Shilamain in Istanbul. Can you deliver it?" "It is possible," I replied, not wanting to risk any further anger. Captain Kasim seemed to weigh me up for a moment, and then handed me a small, carved bead of bright lapis lazuli. Closing my fingers over the treasure, "Take this to him. It is important." She tucked it in a breath. "He will reward you handsomely, I am quite sure." "And what do you receive in return?" "What is it?" I nodded seriously, sensing the deep sentiment behind her simple words. No doubt this artificer had something to do with the captain's past. How did an artificer come to be an airship pirate anyway? The rest of the journey was conducted in uneasy silence until finally the Canaver dropped us off a short distance outside Berlin. Having no further use for us, Christoph lamented over the scavenging remains of his steam carriages. "My father is going to be very angry," he sighed. A thoroughly congenial abduction, as abductions went. We had lost hardly any time at all. My fingers closed over the lapis eye in my pocket. How would I convince my master to journey to Istanbul? Relations with Thog have deteriorated slightly. Aww. And there we go. Let's have a look at our lapis. And I think that's it for this episode. We made it to Berlin. So we haven't traveled very far yet. From there to Paris, to Munich, to Berlin. And we've got a long way to go. All over this world. Over Canada, yeah. And back again. Well, I hope you enjoyed the story so far, and I will see you next time, intrepid travelers. See ya!